Hey y'all, it's Jessica from Sloppy Swatches. Today I have a look at the Summertime Soundtrack Collection available right now from Moonshine Manny by Phoebe Moon. I'll link her storefront and social media down below. These were sent to me for review and they have a bit of a varying price point. The whole collection is available for $40 and I'll tell you each individual price of the polishes as I review them. So I'll go ahead and get right into it. So first up is Summer in the City, and this is described as a very light, smoky gray with just a pinch of sultry purple and gold shimmer. So this is almost an off-white color. It does have a very subtle shimmer. It kind of translates very subtly to the nail. I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how Summer in the City swatched on my natural nail. So here is the first easy coat. This one does have a bit of a crelly formula, so it's almost a little bit on the squishy side. It did go on nice and easy for this first coat. Maybe a little bit streaky. I'll let that dry and come back in and show you how it builds up with a second coat. So here's a look at that second coat. I am going to go in for a nice, just, regular coat, not too thick or too thin. I did find that this one was right on the edge of being opaque. If you go in for thinner coats, you may need to go for 3, but I found that this is perfectly opaque for me in just 2. This is such a wearable white type shade for summer. I'm really in love with it. Here's a look at that completed mani before top coat, so this does dry down fairly glossy. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with the top coat, so you can see that that shimmer is pretty subtle on the nail. Still really pretty and still a really classy option. So here's a look at my swatch photo underneath artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle in that direct sunlight. So next up is Summer of '69, and this is described as a hot marmalade linear holographic with a diamond and gold hollow flakies. So this has those flaky shreds that tend to kind of roll up on me. I'll go ahead and show you application that is gorgeous in the bottle. It's very bright summery orange shade. Here's a look at that brush shot, and I'll show you how Summer of '69 swatched on my natural nail. So here is the first easy coat. This one goes on so smooth, really easy. I'll go ahead and let that dry and show you how it builds up with a second coat, but this had a really nice coverage in just one coat. So here's a look at that second coat. That does kind of level out those flakes for me and also adds more of that hollow and for sure brings this one completely opaque. I do recommend capping the tip on the first coat, however, it does have that bit of shimmer. Here's a view at that completed mani at 2 coats before top coat, so you can see a little bit of that texture coming through from those hollow flakes. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with a Glitter Wrangler top coat from Dolish Polish, so that levels it out really nicely. This is my swatch photo underneath artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle in that direct sunlight. So next up is Cool for the Summer, and this is described as a sky blue linear holographic with a delicate green shimmer and those diamond and gold hollow flakies. So here's a look at that bottle shot. You can see there's so many beautiful things going on in here. It does have those same kind of hollow flakes that tend to roll up a little bit on me. It was a little bit easier to work with in this formula. I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how Cool for the Summer swatched on my natural nail. So here is that first easy coat. This one does have a bit of a thinner, less opaque formula, but it was still really easy to work with. This first coat went on nice and smooth. I'll let it dry and show you how it builds up with a second coat. So here's a look at that second coat. I am going in a little bit thick here because I know this one is a little bit more on the sheer side, but it does build up beautifully with 2 coats. I feel like a third is for sure going to bring this one completely opaque, so I'll let that dry and come back in and show you how it builds up with that third and final coat. So again, I did go in a little bit thicker here, but for sure this one's completely opaque in 3 coats, so no problems at all. I didn't have as much of that texture bumping up, but there is still a little bit. That Glitter Wrangler top coat from Dolish Polish smoothed it right out. So here's a look at that completed mani at 3 coats before top coat. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with top coat, and that's really where this polish shines. So here's a look at my swatch photo underneath artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle in that direct sunlight. So lastly today I have Summertime Sadness. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is my top pick of these 4. This is described as an inky indigo cream with a mauve, blue, green, and gold shimmer. It's supposed to be opaque in 2 coats. It also looks like it almost has some iridescent flakies that are super tiny in here. I'll go ahead and show you that brush shot, and I'll show you how Summertime Sadness swatched on my natural nail. So here's a look at that first coat. This one goes on so smooth, really silky. I did have a little bit of flooding there, but I think that was more my application. I did clean that right up with acetone and a cleanup brush, and I had absolutely no staining or anything like that. So there's a look at that first coat. I'll show you how it built up with a second. I am going in a little bit with a thick coat here. I had no problems or issues. I did notice a little bit of brush stroking, so you may want to be mindful of that and do long, even strokes. However, I did cap that tip there. I definitely recommend capping it on the first coat. Here's a look at that completed mani before a top coat. So this one does dry down a little bit dull. A good top coat will smooth that right out and bring out all of that gorgeous shimmer. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with a top coat. Super, super pretty. And this is my swatch photo underneath artificial lighting. And then once more at an angle in that direct sunlight. So that does wrap up my swatch and review of the Summertime Soundtrack Collection. Again, these are available right now, and I'll have all her information linked in the description box below. If you'd like to see more photos, I do have those available on my blog at sloppyswatches.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at sloppyswatches. So thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time.